From Mesmerized Online, headline: Which Rule 5 eligibles will be added to the Mets 40-man roster? Now, before we get this video, please, of course, hit the subscribe button so you can find out all the players I'm going to discuss in this video and in future videos on this channel. Each offseason, teams around the league need to make tough decisions in regards to which Rule 5 draft-eligible players will be added to the 40-man roster to ensure they are not taken by another team. This is a lighter group than normal for first-year Rule 5 eligibility because the group corresponds to the abbreviated 2020 MLB trade class. There are, of course, more players in the minor league system that are Rule 5 eligible but aren't worth mentioning here. Part of the New York Mets decision-making process will be based on their offseason, whether they are in trade and acquisition mode or are truly targeting 25 as their next year to compete. If they choose to compete next year, a player may be left off the 40-man roster and claimed in a draft that could be traded in a bigger deal to avoid losing them for nothing. Number of players on the 40-man roster at the time of the meetings will also determine the number of players that the Mets will be able to add to the roster. All in all, while this is speculation, the front office is likely only considering a small group to be added to the roster and is likely doing digging to find out whether prospects will be poached if they choose to keep them off of their 40-man roster. Now, I would mention, now that we have a new guy running the club, and they currently don't have a general manager, so certain players might be off that might have been on the 40-man roster as a projected player, might not be on there now, based on the fact that Billy Eppler's not here. First year of eligibility list starts with Eric Orsi. Back in 21, pundits would have predicted Eric Orsi would have been a surefire addition to the 40-man roster this winter. However, after 2 years of struggles in AAA and a stagnation in his stuff on the mound, he will likely be left off the roster despite his devastating sinker and his strong finish to the season. He's a realistic chance to be drafted this winter, not added. Daniel Juarez. Even Juarez off the 40-man roster may be realistic, but will still likely leave a bad feeling in the pit of Mets' stomachs. He started off the season with 15 scoreless innings in Binghamton and then posted a 3.22 ERA with an above-average fastball from the left side, 40-plus AA innings. Luckily, his tenure in AA may not be enough for a team to take a chance on him in the MLB portion of the draft, and he'll likely stay in the Mets system, not added. Brandon McIlwain. A strong finish to the season made a good case for Brandon to be added to the roster or even make a late-season debut. In particular, his skyrocketing walk rate shows his steady plate discipline improvement. While McIlwain will be at the MLB spring training, will be a good depth piece for the Mets going forward. If he continues to develop, he'll likely be left off the roster and will likely be unclaimed due to below-average power production and average strikeout rates, not added. Alex Ramirez also would have been pegged to be added to this roster had readers asked experts last season. However, after an up-and-down season, he fell off of MLB's top 100 prospect list. He's the highest-ranked Mets prospect in this article, ranked at number 11 in the system, but posted a paltry 527 OPS at high A in 2023. His numbers from this season won't excite Mets fans, but will put them at ease when he is left off the 40-man roster, making him a lock to go unselected, not added. Who's next? Second year of eligibility, Justin Jarvis, who was acquired by Billy Eppler. Recently acquired from the Brewers from Mark Hanna, Jarvis is the most likely Met to be added to the 40-man roster this winter. With an elite fastball with nearly 20-inch vertical break and a solid sweeper and splitter off speed combo, Jarvis is both developed and nearly MLB ready. At number 15 in the Mets system, he will be at big league camp this spring and will compete for a role as a depth piece in the rotation. Just a note, which I should mention, he was with the Brewers, so if anybody would know, it would be David Stern. So he might be added, and according to this article, added. Next up, Jeremiah Jackson. After swatting over 20 homers and changing organizations to the Mets, Jackson is certainly a candidate to wind up on the 40-man. He's currently the number 22 prospect in the system, but still managed just a 248 average and sub-800 OPS despite his 22 home runs. He hits the ball hard and puts up 110 mile per hour plus exit velocities this season, but doesn't seem to be a Major League Baseball ready quite yet. If it took Mauricio the whole season to make it in Queens with better numbers in Syracuse, Jackson seems to be a ways off that pace, though. He has a small chance to get taken, but likely will remain in the Mets system, not added. And that is a player that Billy Epler was very familiar with because he was with the Angels. Joander Suarez. This is probably my favorite pick of the bunch. Suarez was a top prospect, but Tommy John surgery during the 21 season slowed his rise through the season significantly. He finished the season with a bang, better than anybody else. During a no-hit in the midst of 2 straight hitless outings, in his final 25 innings, he allowed just 1 run and 6 hits. 6 hits. Luis Moreno. Some of these are new names if you haven't heard. That's why you need to hit the subscribe button so you can learn about these different players. If Luis Moreno had continued his 22 success, he would have been a likely addition. However, he was remarkably average in 23. He had average strikeout and ground ball rates, and he's improved the shape of his curveball. As a single and cutter gyro slider pitcher, he should be thrown more of a sweeper than a traditional top-to-bottom curveball. His fastball and cutter are both nasty pitches and are above average MLB offerings, but he needs to improve execution before earning a call-up. Shown by his 4.90 ERA and a hardy 120-plus innings in Double-A, he remains a prospect when Bubba will be left off, not added. Hunter Parsons. Parsons likely has next to no shot to be added to the 40-man this winter. However, he does have a slim chance to get selected in the Rule 5 draft. He has a solid AAA tenure this year with a 26% strikeout rate and better than average walk rate. His pitch offerings, particularly his fastball velocity, improved drastically in 23, and he turned himself into a legitimate candidate for an MLB promotion. He should compete for a depth spot in spring training, but might change organizations if things go his way, not added. Brendan Hardy. Hardy has had a strong 22 and 23 season and has been best extension in professional baseball along with solid pitch shapes. His 35% plus strikeout rate between Brooklyn and Binghamton is worth a second glance. However, a handful of innings in Double-A likely won't get him over the hump to be a roster addition. Maybe he wows evaluators in the fall league. More than likely, it will simply be an arm to keep an eye on in the upper minors in 2024, not added. Luke Ritter. Ritter's power numbers brought him into the conversation, but a late season injury likely keeps him off the roster. While he pumped 27 long balls that had above average walk rates, he did have high strikeout numbers and was about league average in AAA despite his power and prowess. A lack of a true position makes it difficult to see Ritter getting added to the roster or get picked up by another club, even as bad as MLB ready, not added. Carlos Cortez. Cortez has many similarities to McElwain and likely was in consideration for a September call-off. However, he is likely a AAA depth piece at this point. He ended with a below-average OPS for the International League, even with his better than average walk and strikeout rates, flashing average power and a low batting average. Without a major speed tool at his disposal as an outfielder, the bat simply won't be enough to warrant an addition even with his even platoon splits. Not added. Junior Santos. While Santos struggled and was demoted to the bullpen halfway through the year, he still has an elite fastball and intriguing frame at 6'7". He reaches upper 90s MLB, major league, a mile per hour range on a sinker with a high release height. He has some similarities to Sandy Alcantara, and while he won't be added to the Mets 40-man roster, he might get snagged in the draft. Not added. So to sort of run this down, they're going to be players that could possibly lead the Mets. It's an interesting list because these are new names. Luis Moreno is a new name. Hunter Parsons is a new name. These are some names that I don't know much about. But this is what makes this channel very unique. We'll talk about everybody in the Met farm system. So let me know what you think about this video.